Welcome, everyone, to the AD Lunch Series sponsored by Auto Owners. Hope you're having a great day. And thank you so much to Auto Owners for your continued and valued partnership of MSU Athletics. As I typically say, at this point, I'd turn over to my left and thank the Auto Owners table. But insofar as you all are remote, let me just thank you in this way and just to let you know how much we appreciate your extraordinary support. Thanks also to all of you who are tuning in today, wherever you may be around the globe. We hope you're staying safe, healthy, and warm. And it's quite cold here in East Lansing. So those of you that are in sunnier destinations, you're missing a couple feet of snow. We hope you have a hot lunch or perhaps a breakfast, depending on your time zone, ready for today's program. This will be our last program of the 2021 season, but we've got really an extraordinary lineup of coaches and student athletes for you to meet this lunch hour. Before introducing our first head coach, I'd like to take this opportunity to provide just a little bit of a departmental report. Since the new year, most of our athletic teams, in fact, all but our football team, are either back to competition or just weeks away from competition. For the safety of all of our student athletes, we're administering COVID tests in many cases on a daily basis to not only our student athletes, but literally hundreds of coaches, trainers, and other support staff. You might be shocked to learn, I was at least shocked to learn, that our COVID testing bill for this for what we expect to be this academic year is slightly north of about $4 million. So daily testing in many cases is not an inexpensive project. For some of our sports, our students are competing in seasons and during times of year that they're not normally accustomed to. But with all of that, I've been really amazed by the resilience of our coaches and our student athletes to press on and really to excel in these trying times. Our staff has done an extraordinary job given the very condensed schedule that we're operating under. As I said, 24 of our 25 sports will compete between early January and the end of this academic year. I want to send out a special congratulations to our women's cross country team. They repeated as Big Ten champions on January 30th. Their 8th Big Ten title in program history. And so a shout out to the women's cross country team for the incredible work that they've done. Many of our varsity sports, including 4 of our programs that are on the call today, are either ranked or on the cusp of being ranked in the top 25. So I think you'll see today that we've got really some extraordinary excellence across the board. A little less than 2 weeks ago, we celebrated the largest commitment by an individual in Michigan State University's history when Matt Ishbia gave $32 million to our MSU athletic programs. His gift will be transformational in a number of ways, and I'm excited that all of our student athletes will benefit from Matt's vision. His commitment is yet another example of extraordinary giving that has occurred over the years from MSU student athletes. We have great support from Steve Smith, Magic Johnson, Flozell Adams, and many others who give back to the university we love and they love, and we're so extraordinarily grateful and appreciative. You can help us commit to excellence and invest in our student athlete success by visiting SpartanFund.net. So please consider making a gift to support our extraordinary student athletes in the work that they do. So let's get started with today's program. First up is Jackie Joseph. Coach Joseph is in her 28th season at MSU. Her 716 wins at MSU are the most of any coach in MSU athletics history. It's one of my favorite trivia questions. She's a 2016 Hall of Fame inductee of the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. Her team has reached the Big Ten tournament semifinals in 2 of the last 3 seasons. She has 3 40-win campaigns, 15 25-win seasons, including 10 in the last 17 years. In the classroom, an impressive 12 student athletes have been named academic All-Americans during Jackie's tenure, the most of any active coach in the MSU athletic department and the most of any women's program at MSU. MSU softball has 22 straight semesters with a 3.0 cumulative GPA and has achieved 3.0 team semester GPA in each of those 11 years as well. So those of you that have joined us regularly in the AD lunches know that all that information you probably could have found by Google. But I always like to include a little something of interest that maybe is ungoogleable, a little fun fact for each of our coaches, and maybe get them to comment on it a little bit. So we'll start out with Jackie, and a fun fact about Jackie is that her favorite food, as she describes it, is anything Middle Eastern. So Jackie, before you update us on our program, update us on what is your favorite Middle Eastern dish?
Oh, boy. Well, first of all, thank you to everybody. Thank you, Bill, for saying such nice things. My favorite, I guess, would be kibbe. For those of you that are Middle Eastern, you would know that's a very unique and labor-intensive, time-consuming dish. But really, I'm a fan of food, as most people know. So I love to eat, but anything is good. I'm really lucky. We're lucky to have such a phenomenal restaurant, and a sponsor of ours, Woody's, on Trowbridge is still there. So anything they make, I'll eat. So that's great. But thanks for having me, Bill. Well,
very good. How are things going in softball?
Well, people might not know this. I say this at every one of our luncheons, but we're scheduled to open next weekend, and we're supposed to go to Orlando and play in like a festival type atmosphere. All 14 Big Ten schools will gather in Orlando, and people might not know, but the schedule was approved for Big Ten play only. So we've created this little mini bubble, if you will, on 2 weekends in Florida, where we're going to play teams that maybe we'd have otherwise had to fly to regular season. So we're going to get to play them down there. And right now I looked at the forecast, and it's supposed to be sunny and 80. So that I sent that note to the players this morning as a pick-me-up. So we got to keep grinding it out. We got to get through this week, and we got to get through half of next week. And then we head to Orlando. So we're excited about that. People might remember we're one of the teams that got our season canceled. We were right in the middle of it, or right at the very beginning of it, I should say, before COVID hit. And I know a lot of people are always interested in how we've managed it and how things are going. We had a great fall. We didn't play any competitions, which is unusual for us. But we had a great fall. We had good weather. And just got a lot of work done. We've been in practice every day now since January 18th. And the players are really anxious to play somebody else. You get to be about this time, and I don't know if we're ready. People are always asking, are you ready? And I go, I don't know if we're ready, but we're definitely ready to play somebody other than ourselves, scrimmaging in practice. We have a hitting facility at the field down at Secchia Stadium that we share with baseball. And then we have a hour-and-a-half time slot in the indoor Duffy indoor football facility that we affectionately call the Weave. I think they named it a million years ago after an old AD. Last name was Weaver. So Bill, maybe we'll name one of these new indoor facilities after you. But anyway, that's what we've been doing. And, I want to get a shout out to those coaches that are competing now and doing a great job grinding it out and trying to give the kids a quality experience. That's certainly what I'm committed to. I don't want our players to leave losing two seasons of their 4. So we're working very hard to give those kids an opportunity. I just can't thank the medical team enough. for doing everything they can to give us a chance to play. I can't thank our support staff enough. Our support staff people are pretty much out of gas right about now, trying to manage it all, but they're doing their best to give us a chance to play. And I can just tell you from the softball program, our players are extremely grateful for the opportunity to get a chance to play this spring. And right about now, only thing that keeps me up at night is a flood. There's a lot of snow out there, and if it floods again, you just might find me laying down in the hallway crying like a little girl. So that's really the only thing that worries me. Players have been making great choices about their behaviors, and I think that it's been extremely difficult for them, and I give them all the credit in the world. So I am so excited to introduce to you a phenomenal student athlete. Joanna Bartz is in her senior year. She's from Mattawan. She's a human biology major. This kid is the kind of kid that gives you just 10 years more of coaching. Her, first of all, if you know her, you just want to go hug her parents, because her parents did such a fantastic job of raising this kid. This kid's a joy to be around every day. She's fun. She's a great leader. She's compassionate. She's extremely hardworking. And she's just such a diehard Spartan. How do you measure a Spartan? Well, I'll tell you this. This kid had a new tattoo. I noticed it. And I asked her about it one day. And I said, what are these numbers? She'd like long numbers. And I said, what is it? What is this on your arm? And she said, it's the coordinates, longitude and latitude to home plate at Sekia Stadium. And that right there just sums it up. I mean, that kid's been that way her whole career here, and I can't possibly say enough good things about her. And my favorite thing, of course, is she never makes excuses. And better yet, she never lets anybody else make excuses for her in anything that she does. And that's my favorite trait about her. She was having her best year of her career before our season ended. She was hitting over 300, starting and playing at third base before we shut down. And I think so highly of her. I've already asked her to come back as a fifth-year senior and help us coach our program next year. So without further ado, I want to introduce local kid from Mattawan, Michigan, Joanna Bartz.
Thanks, Coach Jay. Yeah, the tattoo is a big thing. I just was glad that you liked it. I was kind of nervous to show you at first. I just want to start off by saying thank you to all of our donors in Spartan Fund for everything they do to make MSU athletics a better place. Like Coach Jay said, I've grown up in Michigan my entire life. I've always known that, I wanted to stay somewhere close to school. So when I came on a visit and stepped on campus, I knew right away that this was the place for me, felt like home, and I knew this was going to be my new family for the next 4 or 5 years. So when I first got here, I didn't know what to expect, but now over the years, my time here at MSU has provided me with opportunities that I really never thought were possible. Being a part of MSU athletics has allowed me to have experience of a lifetime, and it's helped me grow into the person I am today. It's also prepared me for futures in actually 2 different career choices. Right now, I'm currently getting my undergrad in human biology to hopefully become a physician assistant in the future. However, right now, my plan is to attend grad school after my 5th year, helping out Coach Jay, coaching and learning more from her, to maybe one day also become a collegiate coach and go that route of things. So playing for Coach Jay here has taught me so many life lessons, but it's also given me skills of leadership, problem solving, and most importantly, communication. I've learned so much from her. And like I said, I can't wait to go back next year and learn more as a coach from the coaching side of things. So the things that also have taught me at MSU is just kind of, being just being you and being who you want to be. And MSU has definitely done that for me. So being a part of this softball program has meant the world to me. Like Coach Jay said, I even got this tattoo with the coordinates to Sekia. And so that way I'll be able to cherish moments forever and remember and have anyone who asks me, hey, what do those mean? Oh, that was my, college experience at MSU, such a wonderful place. Like I said, I've grown so much as an athlete and a person at my time here at MSU. I've been grateful for all the opportunities that I've had here. And this university program will always hold a special place in my heart. And again, I just want to thank all of our donors in the Spartan Fund for making my athletic experience one that I'll remember for a lifetime.
Much for joining us today. Really an extraordinary story, and Joanna, we'll look forward to seeing you. Hopefully, we'll get in a few home games this year. Our 2 foot of snow today would seem to suggest otherwise, but maybe we'll get lucky. So thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Bill.
So let's bring in our next head coach, Mike Rowe, who leads our gymnastics program. Mike is in his 4th season at the helm of MSU Gymnastics. Mike's a Michigan State alum who was a member of the cheer squad while he was on campus. During his overall time on the Spartan coaching staff as an assistant and then as head coach, Mike has mentored 11 All Big Ten award honorees and coached 3 Big Ten co-champions on the floor. Mike has coached 14 Big Ten Distinguished Scholars, 22 academic All Big Ten selections, 31 WCGA Scholastic All-America Award winners, and this is really spectacular, 2 Big Ten Medal of Honor Award winners in Jessica Ling and Gabriella Douglas. A fun fact about Mike, his favorite holiday is Halloween. So Mike, I need a little more on that. Is it the trick-or-treaters? Is it the opportunity to wear something silly? What makes Halloween special?
It's been an ongoing thing for a lot of years. I've accumulated a lot of decorations. I think a quick little short story. When we moved from Pittsburgh back to Lansing in 2014, one entire moving van was dedicated to Halloween decorations. We actually won the Glow Green competition that Michigan State sponsors every Halloween for, decorating your house up and all that kind of stuff. And we actually won one year. So I don't know. I know it's for the kids, but keeps me a kid at heart. In our neighborhood, we usually get 500 to 600 trick-or-treaters every year. It's not really about them. It's about me, and it's about the costumes and the decorations. But they really enjoy it. So it becomes really fun.
Very good. Very good. It sounds like a lot of fun. I will have to swing by and check out the decorations next year. So how are things going in gymnastics?
Well, believe it or not, starting today, they're going well again. I through COVID and all of the protocols and everything that's been going on, gymnastics specifically, the mental toughness and the strength in coping with adverse circumstances under normal circumstances are difficult. But COVID's, definitely thrown a new, a new level of adversity towards our kids. And, specifically our fall semester, we're used to having a 3-month preseason, and, we were shut down 3 different times, once for 3 weeks, once for 2 weeks. And we actually just got a 10-day. We're coming back today from a 10-day shutdown. So it's been on again, off again. And it's a sport that you really need to train consistently. I think these kids that, our young ladies who have been doing this sport for 17, 18, 19 years throughout their adolescence and in junior Olympic competition have probably never taken more than 2 weeks off, let alone 5 or 6 months that some of them had this year because their gyms were shut down. So mentally it's been a struggle, but I'm so proud of how they've handled it. We're shut down for a couple of weeks. We come back and try to pick up where we left off, but that's not always the safest way to do things. So we're always trying to progress at a slow pace. And then again, everybody's at their different levels. So I'm always saying, it seems like we're running 17 different workouts every single day for events, and we just see how it goes getting, along the way. I got to say one thing, the 3 shutdowns might not have been great for our training, but they were great for our academics this year because we blasted some program records. Was one of our, highest team GPA in program history with a 3.795, highest cumulative GPA in program history. We had 18 athletes over 3 point, 14 of them were over 3.5, and 7 of them had perfect 4 points. So they took advantage of the time that they had available to them, which we were really excited because, hey, that's what they're students before they're athletes, and we were really excited to see them persevere. Just a little bit about our season this year. Because of the shutdowns and us, having the on again, off again training, the inconsistencies in training, we opted to postpone our first 2 meets of the season and begin in the 3rd weekend in January. Obviously, safety played a big issue there. We could have gone onto the floor and counted zeros. We didn't have full lineups. We didn't have full difficulty of routines to put on the floor. So it was more about safety than anything else. And I think it proved to work out for us as we opened, which became not only our opener, our home opener, but it was our Big Ten opener with Ohio State and Nebraska on January 23rd. And we had our highest opening score in program history, breaking records on bars, beam, and floor. We swept the all-around titles with Bailey Garcia, who's a freshman, Nia Smith, who's a sophomore, and our own Leah Mitchell, going 1, 2, and 3. And Bailey actually took her first ever collegiate balance beam title and earned Big Ten Freshman of the Week in our first collegiate meet ever. So that was really exciting. And also freshman Delaney Harkness grabbed a share of the uneven bars title while Leah won floor. So holding out for those 2 weeks, I think, helped us out. And then coming out of that weekend, we were ranked 17th in the country, 18th on bars, 10th on beam, and 11th on floor, which was really exciting. So now just coming back from a 10-day shutdown, we will resume practice this afternoon, but we will resume competition next Saturday at the Big Fives in Ann Arbor, where we'll meet Michigan, Iowa, Penn State, and Rutgers. After that, we have 2 weekends of dual meets, one being senior night, but we're still trying to reschedule 3 meets sometime between then. So those are TBA. We need to reschedule a couple of the meets that we missed at the beginning of the season. Big Tens are at Minnesota this year, the 3rd weekend in March 20th. And we'll be vying for the 4th in the evening session. Just like we finished last year, we were the 4th seed going into Big Ten championships. We want to regain that 4 seed slot. Currently, we're sitting 2-1 in the Big Ten and 2-2 overall. And like I said, we're in the process of rescheduling some meets so we can, up our game, up our chances at, obviously our record going into the regular season championship and then qualifying into NCAA postseason. I'd also like to follow in Jackie's footsteps with a quick shout out to our medical team, including all of our athletic trainers, for all the hours and hard work that they've been putting in addressing these protocols and testing and management of all our teams, especially now that a lot of them are all back at once going at the same time. It is craziness, but they're doing an amazing job. And without them, we'd be in trouble. Thank you for your commitment and your endless hours and contributions for the cause of just keeping us safe and healthy. Before I introduce my athlete, Ashley Hoflick, I have some breaking news that just came in roughly 15 minutes ago. Zach Fisher, our sport information director, informed me that the Big Ten was going to be posting at noon that our very own senior Leah Mitchell has been awarded the 2021 Wayne Duke Award. It's a postgraduate scholarship, $10,000. This evidently, we've gone back-to-back years. There was a male swimmer who won it last year. It's basically athletic and academic achievement, extracurricular activities, and leadership. So we'd like to congratulate Leah on her Wayne Duke Award for a postgraduate scholarship. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Ashley Hoflick. She's from Novi, Michigan. She's one of our juniors who presently competes two strong leg events. She's been just so important, influential to both our floor and our bar and our vault lineups for the past 2 years. Scoring consistently 9.8s, 9.9s. I mean, just you can always depend on Hoff. And but just most recently is breaking into the beam lineup, so we're excited about that. She's going to share a bit of her Spartan experience with you this year. I'd like to thank you all for letting me join in today, and please stay safe, wear a mask, and go green. Ash?
Thanks, Mike. I also want to start off and just thank our donors for the commitment they put into this school and making sure us athletes really do have the best experience. Being a Spartan is in my blood. I grew up in Michigan, and my parents grew up in Michigan. My mom actually went to Michigan State, so I kind of grew up coming to the campus and knowing that I wanted to go to school here. And then after really getting into gymnastics and doing it seriously, I came here and visited the coaches and talked with them and kind of knew it was home after that. And not only for the athletics, but education too. I'm a finance major. I'm in the College of Business, so that's been really special. I'm on my path to a finance degree, so that's really cool. I've actually just got an internship for this summer with GM Financial, so that's super cool. Being a part of MSU and MSU athletics and gymnastics, it was kind of home as soon as I came here, and it was really cool to be a part of a family and a part of a team who I kind of knew that whether it was an academic advisor, coach, teammate, support services, kind of knew that they always had my back and that I was part of something really special here. Obviously, with this year being COVID and things like that, it's been tough, but it's all about, making adjustments and being able to really adapt. And like Mike said, gymnastics is really mentally tough and coming and going with practice times and being able to take time off and come back. So that's been really cool this year to even just have the opportunity to compete. And I cannot thank athletic training and everybody for just making that opportunity possible. And we're excited to get going again today, like Mike said, and hopefully finish the season strong.
Super. Well, thanks so much, Ashley, for joining us today and sharing a little bit of your story. And Mike, thank you. We will look forward to seeing you in action soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bill.
And for those of you that may not be aware, the Wayne Duke Award in the Big Ten is a really big deal. So it's an extraordinary accomplishment for Leah. And as Mike said, for MSU, this is 2 years in a row that a Spartan student athlete will have won that award, and we couldn't be more proud. So, Mike, please pass on our congratulations.
I sure will. Thank you.
So our next head coach is Stacy Slobodnik Stoll. Stacy's a 5-time Big Ten Coach of the Year. In 22 seasons, she's led MSU to 7 Big Ten titles, the most of any female coach in MSU history. She's also led MSU to 20 NCAA regional appearances and 11 trips to the NCAA championship. Her team posted the highest team GPA at MSU for 8 straight seasons, from 2012 to 2019. She's a member of several Hall of Fames, including most recently the Women's Golf Coaches Association, Michigan Golf, and the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame. So most recently, our under Stacy's leadership, our Spartans came off their first tournament win of 2021, winning the FAU Paradise Invitational in Boca Raton on Tuesday, February 9th. And one of the fun facts about Stacy, and I'm sort of pulling this one on her because it wasn't what I had in the script, but I think it's really cool, is that Stacy has maintained her own personal golf skills and is actually the winningest amateur golfer in Golf Association of Michigan history. So not only an extraordinary coach, but an extraordinary golfer in her own right. So, Stacy, how do you keep up your own game while you're so busy with golf, your commitments to your team and your family?
Well, I'm not sure that I'm keeping it up the way that I would really want to right now, but I'm doing the best that I can, with the team, and I still want to continue to play with my team for as long as possible. And, they're already hitting it 25 to 30 yards past me off the tee as it is. So it's really just kind of a motivational factor to see how long I can really, just keep it going. And when you turn 50 in golf, there's a whole new realm of tournaments. So I'm really gearing up for the whole 50 and over scene in amateur golf. There's a lot of tournaments that I'll be able to try and qualify for. I also have one daughter who's going to be playing golf in college next year, so she'll be off and running, doing her own thing. So I may have like a little more time to work on my own game. But it's just so much fun being able to play with your own players and trying to stay in the ballpark with them. And it gives me a great measuring stick as to where they're at. Knowing my own game so well, you've got that. You look at their game and see what they need to improve on, and and just also it's easier to admire when you're watching them and playing with them side by side.
Well, despite our chilly temperatures here, y'all have already had one very positive, actually maybe two trips south, but one that brought home a championship. So how are things going in women's golf?
Everything's going well, except for we were supposed to be leaving for Houston tomorrow. And if anyone's keeping track of what's going on in Texas, it's not very good. So we are scrambling right now to figure out a new plan to how to get the team somewhere warm, which it's going to be Florida. So we're talking with some other coaches that we're supposed to be in Houston, and we're going to play a little try match down in Florida this weekend with the same timing. So this morning has been very interesting. And again, this whole year experience has been interesting, but we're going to make it all work. And we keep telling our team the same as what you've heard from all the other coaches. We just have to be tentative and flexible in this time period and know that we're all in this together. And as long as we get to go and play golf in warm temps, we're going to be fine.
Good. Well, what's you have a pretty incredible indoor facility. And I assume that's actually very helpful in a northern environment this time of year.
Yes, our facility, we have to say thank you, as everyone else has done, to all the donors and supporters of our program that believe in our players and help us reach the heights that we've reached at Michigan State. Our facility is beautiful. We are proud to walk into it every day, and it really gives us what we need when we're looking at the 12 inches of snow that's sitting outside right now. We know that we've got a facility where we can work on the player skills and we can get done what we need to be successful.
Super. Well, you've got a student athlete of your own to welcome today.
I do, and I'm so proud to introduce you to junior Valery Plata. She's from Florida Blanca, Colombia, and let me tell you just a little bit about her. When she was a little bit younger, 2015-16, she qualified for the U.S. Junior Girls, which is the largest junior tournament in the world for girls. 2018, she made it to the final 8 in the U.S. Junior. That was out in Poppy Hills in California. 2019, when she came to Michigan State, she won the Ruth Chris Tar Heel Invitational, which was one of the major events in the country. She posted a score of 11 under. Last year in 2020, she was named the Big Ten Player of the Year. She was an All-American athletically and academically. She was named the Michigan State Athlete of the Year, and her current world ranking is 64th. So those are her golf accomplishments, and her academics are equally as impressive. But Valery as a person is just a wonderful young woman, and we're just so proud to have her as a Spartan. She's accomplished so much and has so much more for her in front of her, and I'm just really looking forward to having all of you meet her. And here she is, Valery Plata.
Thank you, Coach. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here and giving me the opportunity to share a little bit of my story and how I got to Michigan State. Life is full of beautiful coincidences, and everything happens for a reason. I like to think of these two phrases as an accurate one-line summary of how I got into golf in the first place and how it brought me to East Lansing. My first exposure to golf came when I was about 8 years old because of my brother. He used to go out with his friends and play, and all I wanted to do was to be with them, but they didn't let me tag along a lot of times. Coincidentally, my dad found out about summer golf camp, and he signed us up, me and my brother, and I loved it. I loved camp, and I told my parents I wanted to keep playing, and I did. I would go every day after school with my friends to the range, and we would just play around and have some fun. No one in my family played golf at the time, and they still don't, but I chose to play it, and I don't know why. I just know I love to practice, and I love to improve and be competing on the golf course. That is a beautiful coincidence. As I got older and better, I got to practice with a group of older kids who traveled a lot to play tournaments and talk about college in the U.S. I didn't know this was a possibility, and this opened my eyes. Ever since then, all I wanted to do was play college golf. Fast forward to my senior year of high school, 6 months before graduation, I didn't know where I was going. A few weeks before coming to compete in Florida during winter break, I got an assistant coach from an email from my assistant coach, Caroline, in which she told me she had watched me before, that Michigan State was interested in me, and that both coaches were wondering why I hadn't chosen a school yet. Did I know they were watching me? Absolutely no idea. Had I heard about Michigan State before? No. Had I ever thought of going to school in Michigan? Definitely not. Everyone back home would go to Florida, California, or Texas because of the weather, or they would just stop playing at some point. After emailing back and forth a few times, having 1 or 2 video calls, doing some research, and meeting coach at that one tournament in which she told me, hey, Valerie, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I knew Michigan State was the right choice. I visited campus in the middle of January because I wanted to figure out how cold it would get up here. And after seeing all the resources available, getting to know my coaches just a little bit better, because I am an incredibly shy person, and seeing the quality of education I would receive at Michigan State, I committed, and I started in the fall of 2018 like I always wanted. And that's my story. I believe that just like my friends opened that door for me to keep playing competitive golf while receiving an education, which is not an option at home, I'm opening the door for younger Colombian and South American golfers to come to Michigan State to accomplish their goals. And all of that is possible because of you and your support. So thank you. Thank you for giving my 12-year-old and current self the opportunity to turn her dreams and so much more into reality.
Well, Valerie, thanks for joining us, and of course, Stacy, thanks for being part of the program. And Valerie, it's been fun to watch you in your time here at Michigan State, and we will totally look forward to the great things you have in front of you. So, yeah, we've got a number of young women from our program that have joined the professional ranks, and one can only imagine you being there in a short while. So. Congratulations on your success thus far, and we will look forward to great things to come. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next up is head wrestling coach Roger Chandler. Roger is in his 24th year on the Michigan State coaching staff, his 5th year as a head coach. Roger's only the 9th head coach of our program, which dates back to 1886. In his time on the staff, Roger has coached 11 All-Americans and 6 Big Ten champions for a total of 23 All-America selections and 9 individual Big Ten titles. Last season, Roger led the Spartans to one of the biggest upsets in recent history, defeating number 4 Wisconsin 19-17 last February in Madison. A total of 6 Spartan wrestlers qualified for the NCAA championships last year, the most of any team since 2012, but unfortunately those championships were canceled as a result of the pandemic. Roger has been instrumental in establishing and growing youth folk-style wrestling in the state of Michigan, and actually throughout the entire United States. He serves as the president of the Michigan Youth Wrestling Association and the associate executive director of the National United Wrestling Association for Youth. Coach Chandler was inducted into the Indiana University Athletics Hall of Fame in 2008, where he wrestled to a 134-25 career record. So a fun fact about Roger is one of his favorite shows is America's Got Talent. So, Roger, you have to tell us, what's your secret talent?
What's my secret talent? I wouldn't say I have any secret talents outside of being a wrestling coach and being able to get on the mat and still hang with the guys a little bit from time to time. But, I'm a wrestling coach, and this is what I love to do.
Well, you're really, really good at it. So how are things going this season?
I've been listening to all the other coaches, and our story is no different. We were one of the first programs here at Michigan State outside of football, basketball, and hockey to return to competition. But as far as the season's going so far, I mean, we were finally able to get going January 20th weekend after 2 pauses of COVID issues within other programs. But the biggest challenges throughout this season has been the starts and the stops and the pauses, and just trying to manage that, because obviously wrestling is a different sport, and from the standpoint of there's weight control that's involved with each of our student athletes, and we usually have our guys on a really, really strict regiment throughout the competitive season. And, with the starts and the stops, they've had to kind of adjust throughout the way and figure out ways to be creative, both personally with their training, with the pauses within our program. But, we're grateful for where we are right now. We started that weekend of January 20th. We had a tri-meet, which isn't very common in Big Ten wrestling to have tri-meets, and we hosted Maryland and Minnesota, and we split that opening weekend, and we were able to get a shutout against Maryland, which that's very rare in Big Ten wrestling, with us being the premier wrestling conference in the country. So our guys got out to a strong start there against Maryland. Then we followed that up, and we lost a tough duel to Minnesota, and then the following week we ended up having to go to Ohio State. And they're a top 10 program. Our guys competed hard, and the biggest adjustment for these guys is having consistency. Within the wrestling world, we usually start the first weekend in November and go all the way through the end of March, and there's consistency involved there. But our guys have persevered in so many ways, and we have up to 8 guys ranked in the national rankings, and I can proudly say that. We're a solid top 25 program right now, and over the last 5 years, we went from being non-relevant to being a relevant program. And I know our guys have big goals for the program, and they're really excited to get out there and compete. And we have Michigan on tomorrow here at Jennison Fieldhouse for our final match of the regular season. Then we go to Penn State for the Big Ten championships 2 weeks later.
You got an athlete to introduce as well.
Yeah, I do. He's one of our team leaders, and he's a young team leader. Layne Malczewski. He's from Macomb, Michigan. It's always great when you have local talent here that are making a big impact early within our program, and Layne has done that. Layne wrestled at 174 pounds last season. And he made an impact at the national level really, really quickly. And he actually had a big say in that upset win against Wisconsin last year as a freshman. He went out there and he got a pin, which is worth 16 points, and that was able to give us the edge over Wisconsin last year in that team win. But as far as Layne goes, he's a supply chain management major. He wrestles 174 pounds for us last year. He moved up a weight class to 184 pounds this season. He broke into the top 10 in the national rankings last week for the first time in his career. He was a national qualifier last year as a freshman, which that's a really big deal in wrestling to get to the big show as a freshman. And this year we expect him to be on the podium at the NCAA championships, and we couldn't be more proud and more pleased to have a sophomore leader in Layne Malczewski representing our program.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to all the donors for giving us the opportunity to compete this year. It's amazing that we still get to do all these things throughout all this COVID going on and all these unfortunate circumstances. But to start my story off, I was going to start off when I was younger. So how I actually got into wrestling is kind of crazy. I was a tough kid from what my parents like to tell me, but I used to get in trouble when I was younger because I was roughhousing, playing around with other kids, thinking that it'd be funny, just stuff like that. A kid would throw a toy at me, hit me, I'd throw it back, it'd hit him, he'd start crying, I'd get in trouble. So I used to go on these plans with my teachers on whether I was good one day or bad one day, I'd get a star or not. And so my teacher ended up having a conversation with my parents saying, you need to get him his energy out some way, something different, activities outside of school. And so we tried a few different sports like karate, all stuff like that. I hated it all. And then we finally came up on a flyer for this local wrestling program right down the road from me, actually. And so we tried it out, and I fell in love with it. It's just the whole mano-a-mano, one-on-one thing, being able to control your own destiny practically throughout the whole thing was my favorite aspect about all of wrestling and all that. Something huge in the sport of wrestling for me growing up was having a close-knit team, and it's still something big to me to this day. That's one of the biggest reasons I came to MSU, actually. I came on my visit here when I was a junior in high school, going into my senior year. This was actually my first visit I took out of all of them. And I had an absolute blast. I came out into my meeting with Roger saying, I want to come here. I don't even need to go on any other visits. This is a said and done deal. And this actually will always stick with me. I'm so happy to this day that Roger actually said this to me. But he told me, you know what? I'm happy you feel that way. It's awesome. I'm glad we want you here, obviously, but I don't want you to say yes to me until you go and take a few other visits. Go out there, put yourself out there, see other coaches, other kids, see if you get along better with other people. Make sure that this is the right place for you. And that actually really stuck with me. So I did. I made 2 more visits. I went on those visits, and I had a blast. I'm not going to lie. I had an absolute blast on both of those visits. Met a bunch of guys and got along with a bunch of the teams, and they made me feel at home. I'm not going to lie. And but still, thinking back to my first visit, there was something different about the school, something different about the team. The way the guys, the camaraderie with the team, there wasn't groups of kids throughout the team, like a group here, group there. Everybody on the team got together, and I think I met more than half the team the night I came up and visited, which was something huge for me and probably the biggest thing possible for me. So I can't be happy enough for where I ended up at and the team I am brought into. So yeah, that's my story.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing that, Layne, and we will look forward to great things to come. And Layne, Roger, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So our final coach for today's lunch is women's basketball head coach Suzy Merchant. Suzy is in her 24th year overall as a head coach and her 14th at Michigan State. Through her first 13 seasons at MSU, 45 Spartans have earned all Big Ten recognition, and 60 have been named academic All-Big Ten. A pair of Spartans have earned major Big Ten awards. Kalisha Keene was the Big Ten Player of the Year in 2010-11, following up the 6th Player of the Year award as a junior, while LaKendra Johnson, 2010-11, and Alyssa DeHaan, 2009-10, were named Big Ten Defensive Players of the Year. Suzy herself earned Big Ten Coach of the Year honors during the 2010-11 season. In addition to her work on campus, Suzy won a gold medal as an assistant coach with USA Basketball at the 2009 World University Games in Belgrade, Serbia, and earned a silver medal as the head coach in the 2019 Pan Am Games in Lima, Peru. In 2016, Suzy helped create the Empower Retreat, which was born out of a tragedy. Empower is designed to build confidence in girls by providing interactive workshops concentrated on the importance of self-empowerment, confidence, health and wellness, and relationship building. She was also honored with the Athena Leadership Award in 2018. So a fun fact about Suzy is that, according to her, her most useless talent is that she's a gymnast, with a specialization in cartwheels. So, Suzy, you are very, very lucky that this is a virtual event, because otherwise we'd have you out there doing cartwheels.
Bill, I got this. Are you ready? Donor. I'm gonna do one right now. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! All right.
Move my chair. So I don't know if Michael Rowe is watching, but how about that?
Oh, that's awesome! That's awesome. I am impressed.
And I didn't even stretch out first. No,
So
I don't claim to be a gymnast. I claim I used to be a gymnast a long, long time ago. So clearly I didn't point my toes or, do it properly.
Listen, you still got it. You got it.
Well, thank you for having me, Bill. I appreciate it. And, a special shout out to Sarah Skilling and everybody that goes behind the scenes here that make this happen for us coaches. So thank you. And thank you to the supporters. It's just odd. I just am so tired of looking at a computer all the time, to be honest. I can see myself on the screen and I can see Bill, and I know there's hundreds of Spartan fans out there. So, just certainly first and foremost, thank you on behalf of all of the coaches, all of us here in women's basketball, for what you do for us behind the scenes as well on a daily basis. Cheering from your living room, certainly cheering from wherever you are in your devices. Certainly your financial support means a lot to us. So thank you very much for all you do. They asked me to talk about our season. Wow, what a year. I mean, it feels like, I'm interested to hear what Ty has to say. I'm going to introduce one of my players in a minute, but we were just meeting as a staff this morning, and it's just kind of a year that you feel like is never ending, to be honest. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's been a long year. I think basketball is one of the sports and the only sport that's been here, I think, since June. And we've been through this whole COVID protocols and daily antigen testing, and we both semesters through a holidays. It's been a grind. And I think basketball has been a sport too that has really, tested the flexibility and the adversity of our student athletes and all of us as coaches. If I had to say one thing, I think as coaches, we like to be in control of things. We like to plan and prepare. And I think the one thing, 1 minute you're ready to get on the road and go play Ohio State, and the next minute, nope, you're not even playing that game, and you're going to be playing somebody back to back that week. So just, to me, the flexibility and letting go of some of the things that we kind of are used to controlling has been something that's been, I think, a lesson that I've learned through all of this. To be frank, I do think it's taken its toll on our kids and on our team. I don't think it's an easy thing that they've been asked to do. And I don't say that they're not grateful for the opportunity. They want to play. They love to play. This means everything to them. But I also think that the sacrifices they've had to make has continued for a long period of time, can get tough. You don't see your family. You don't have fans in the stands a lot of places. You're getting up early to antigen test every single day. Even when you're on the road or you get in at 3:00 in the morning, you got to get up and get in there and get things done. So their commitment has been phenomenal. But the other piece to this commitment has been our medical staff. So I wouldn't have an opportunity to listen to many of the coaches, but being here since June, going through COVID with this team, we've had a couple instances ourselves of isolation and things, and going through what the men have gone through as well. I'll tell you what, our medical staff has done an exceptional job. Luann Jefferson is our personal athletic trainer, and she just is a tireless worker. She's been committed to keeping these kids safe. Just adore and love and appreciate her. Sally Nogel, Jeff Covan. I mean, that team has worked tirelessly for all of our student athletes. So, as supporters too, I know sometimes we always just look at the teams, but boy, that group of people, if you're thinking about where to send some money, I send it wherever you want, but certainly they are well deserving as well in their department. But I just want to give them a special shout out as well. We are in we have 4 more scheduled games left. We're 12-6 right now. We have 4 that are listed to play. We play at home this Sunday. Will be our Think Pink game versus Purdue, where we honor breast cancer survivors. That will be Sunday. We'll do a lot of things virtually for that, obviously. And then we turn around and we will play 3 games that week. We'll play Wednesday and then at Nebraska on Saturday, and then probably get a game or two that next week. On the women's side, the Big Ten has taken the last week of our season and given some flexibility in there to add some games. There's been, maybe 3 or 4 teams that have been shut down for extended periods of time. Obviously, you all know Michigan has been, Rutgers has been one of those teams, Ohio State. So there's a lot of games to be made up. We still have 3 more games, I think, because we just made one up. So we still have 3 more games ourselves to make up due to our situation. So it's just, it's a lot, but we like where we're at. Our league is the second toughest league in the country right now in terms of RPI. We're at a net. There's like 7 of us that are in the top 35 in the country, and they kind of look at that net number, for NCAA postseason. So we like where we're sitting right now with the rest of the games we have to go. So we feel good about where we're at, but again, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So we always tell our kids, just be grateful for the fact that we can be together and enjoy this experience and represent Michigan State and all of you. So that's a quick little update. Let me give you one of my favorite people on our team. I'll introduce, if that's okay, Bill. I don't know if that's the protocol or if I should open up for questions first. I guess I didn't check on that. I apologize.
No, go ahead, Suzy. Okay. Go ahead and introduce your athlete.
All right, I didn't realize the order of this. So let me introduce to you all Tyra Park. She is an amazing student athlete here at Michigan State. Truly, with Ty, one of the things, and she'll have an opportunity to share with you about her family and whatnot, and how the influence of basketball has been there. But what I love to see and what I get into coaching for is watching kids mature, not only physically as a basketball player, that's obviously what I do for a living, but more importantly, as a person. And when Ty came in here last year as a true freshman, I mean, she had wide eyes. I think she's full of energy and effervescence and fun, and she's just the kindest kid you'll ever want to meet. But she didn't know kind of what direction where she wanted to go all the time. She just kind of lived it day to day. And this young lady, I mean, now she's on a representative and a leader in SAC. She's getting involved off the court and some opportunities potentially in the sorority and the Greek life. She's a leader on the court for us, has a great attitude every single day. This young lady just brings so much joy to so many people. I want to say she's the best dancer on the team, but I'm afraid to officially say that out loud because I might get in trouble from a couple of your teammates. But Ty, I'm always going to go with you. I promise on that. But a great post player for us and is really, really improving every single day. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Tyra Parks to the show.
Hi, everyone. I hope everybody's being safe at home. Again, my name is Tyra Parks. I'm a sophomore. I'm going to talk to you guys about my history and how I got to MSU. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm the youngest of 3. I have 2 older brothers. They both went D1. One's playing right now for Temple University. And my oldest brother, Amari Spellman, he played for Villanova. Actually won a championship, so NCAA. My mother, Teresita, she played basketball. So we were a D1 family, very athletic, very competitive. In that growing up, we were very close, and our family is really big on closeness and having the support of others. And so when it was time for me to pick a college, I was really looking for that. Michigan State was really a big one for that. I realized that when I first tore my ACL, it was my summer going to freshman year. And a lot of schools backed off of me from recruiting-wise, and Michigan State actually amped up the pressure, and I really liked that. And sadly, going into my senior year, I tore my other ACL, and Michigan State was one of the schools that stayed with me, and I really appreciate that so much. They were actually one of the first offers that I had. I was in 8th grade, so, getting an offer like that's pretty cool. So when I took my unofficial year, it felt like home. I knew that was where I wanted to be. I was very grateful to have that offer. And so, like my mom, she said, I had to wait and see what's out there for me and what's going on. But I knew that's where I wanted to be. So by senior year, I made the decision to commit, and I'm glad I made that decision. My experience here so far, I would say it's pretty exciting. I'm learning new things every day from great people and my teammates. Academically, I have the support of our academic team, very helpful. Shout out to Ashley Cruder and my man Jared Rowan, very helpful. On the court, I would have to say, COVID-wise, a proud COVID moment would be being able to play with my teammates and being able to play for such a great coach like Suzy. It's been hard trying to adjust to what's been going on. Like Suzy said, you don't know what's going to happen next day, so we try to keep that in mind and leave everything out on the floor and staying together as close as we can. I really want to say that being a Spartan is very important to me. I'm glad I made the decision to come here. It feels like home, so it was a good idea to come here. I'm sorry. What else? That's all I got.
Well, Tyre, thanks so much for sharing your story. I didn't appreciate you were a Clevelander, but with Coach Tucker, we got a number of great Clevelanders in our Spartan family. So thanks so much for joining us, Tyre and Suzy, and good luck on the rest of your season. We'll be excited to see how it progresses.
Thank you.
So that wraps up today's AD Lunch, and it's actually our last lunch this year for our AD Luncheon series. So we look forward to seeing you all again soon. Please be sure to mark your calendars for March 16th, which is Give Green Day, the university's day of giving, and we would certainly appreciate any support you might provide to Spartan Athletics. But on behalf of our 21 head coaches, our 700 plus student athletes, our trainers, our strength and conditioning staff, our academic support staff, our nutrition team, the many, many people that make Spartan Athletics go. And as you heard all of our coaches say, our medical team, which has done such an extraordinary job this year in the face of the global pandemic to keep our young people being able to participate in the sports that they so dearly love. And of course, thanks to all of you for your support of Spartan Athletics, for all you've done for us over the so many years. You are the foundation upon which we build our product. And so thank you very much for all you do. Since we're sincerely hopeful that in the fall we'll be able to begin having lunch again in person. But either way, we very sincerely appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, stay safe and go green.